Do you want to make tracks that sound like Together by Sidepiece? Today we are going to recreate the drop from scratch, and I'm here to show you. Let's get started. Here's the original drop. And here's mine. Pretty close. Pretty close, if not more fidelity. I don't know how. For the kick, I found a kick that had a lot of thump and grit to it, and I EQ'd it so there wasn't any mids or highs, and then I took the original kick from Sidepiece and I used it as a top texture. For the main lead, I started with a basic MCB wavetable from Analog, and then I made sure that it was down an octave, and then I shaped the LFO like this, making sure we're on trigger, BPM, and 1/2, and I threw that on the level. I also had a filter low 24 with a cutoff set at 1231 Hertz, and a little bit of drive at 34%, and I threw the LFO on that as well. Additionally, I made the envelope slope down like this with a release of 201 milliseconds, and then I also made sure that we're in mono. I put hyperdimension on, only dimension at 19% with a size of 16%. I used a hard clip distortion with a drive at 41% and a mix at 100. I added some compressor with some gain, and I made sure the threshold was around -20, and I kind of parallel compressed it at 27% wet. I also added another filter. So what this does is it filters out all of the distortion and the dimension that we have to kind of create and maintain that pluckiness that we had with the first cutoff. Made sure that the cutoff is at 280 Hertz and the mix is at 100%. So without all of that, you get this. And then with all of that put back on, you get. One of the things you'll notice about the track is that that sound comes in occasionally. I mirrored that with the original, and how you did that essentially is the cutoff adjusting. I adjusted the cutoff of both the original cutoff that's on the front page of Serum. So this puppy here, I automated this, and then I also simultaneously automated the cutoff after we adjust all the effects. That way we kind of get a whole bunch of different harmonics coming through when we filter both of them at the same time. And the shaping on that looks similarly to this. I thought that just sounded really pretty. For an additional layer, I added this harmonic push. There's just a sine wave at +7 semitones, and I gave it a little bit of unison to give it some width. You really can't hear the difference, but in the track, I was really paying attention to kind of how all the layers were set up, and I could tell that there was a harmonic being pushed that was 7 semitones higher than just having the bass tone alone, and together you get this. It's so subtle, but I really think it adds that kind of like width in the sound. Additionally, what I did was added a mid-low push. So I added a basic MDC wave, once again at -1 octave. The cutoff is way steeper here, and I'm only automating it with the envelope. And so you get this. And then all together now you get. With everything put together, I also had a sine wave sub that's not doing all too much. I don't know why I clicked out. There's no effects going on it. The envelope is shaped similarly to the mid push here, and it's just sweeping in the MG low 24 whenever it hits. Super basic sub, but definitely makes it all fill in. And all together you get. I took RX10 and ran the track through it to steal the vocal. So it's not the cleanest cut, but it does get the job done in order to kind of like prepare how the track sounds.
Let's get along together.
Pretty simple. And then there's like this weird like artifacting that I liked. That's similarly in here. I noticed that they had repeating effects. So if you listen to the original track, we had a sweep here. Oh. Super small, and then we had a second one following. So literally all I found was a couple different reverses, and then we had super basic, but it's used throughout the entire track. In the second half of the drop, I noticed that their clap was kind of short and not very like high frequency oriented, kind of like a snap clap.
Only thing that makes it better. Let's get it.
So I found two claps that I thought sounded relatively close to that, with just a little bit of reverb on it. And then I believe I grabbed the hat from a more quiet section of the song and I just used it. So together for the drums in the second half, you get. So if you listen to the different basses in the actual song, you'll notice that the second half drop kind of has like a wider, more prevalent sound of harmonics than the first half. So just for example,
Cause you're the only thing that makes it better. Let's get along together.
sounds a lot wider, and that harmonic push that I added seems to be a lot more open. And so I took that harmonic push and pretty much just opened it. So I add a little bit of basic shapes here with +7 semitones. I still have a low 24. The envelope now is doing all the work. It's kind of adding in the level of the basic shapes, keeping the basic MDC the same. All the effects remain to be the same. But I really wanted to make sure that none of the highs were coming out too much. I just really wanted to get that 7 semitone push in. But you notice that I have 3 unison on basic MDC and I have 2 on basic shapes, just to really give the main bass lead more width in the second drop, just to kind of keep the momentum going. It was like this.
Only thing that makes it better. Let's get along together. Along together. Get along together. Only thing that makes it better.
I wanted to also recreate their little vocal stab thing that they made. I thought that was really cool. So I tried to find whatever note in the vocal had that tonality to it. And so I followed the notes, and you get something that sounds like. What you'll also notice is that it's EQ'd kind of like a radio frequency. I probably added too much highs, so let's cut that back a bit. Gave it some reverb at 5 seconds with a 39% delay, or rather dry wet. And then for the echo, it sounded like it was hitting at 130 seconds, and with a dry wet of 70. So without that, you get. Versus you get that kind of cool like echo delay kind of tail. Similarly to. And then you'll notice that the melody switches here and on the actual drop. And so you just. And so the second drop sounds like this. And that is how you recreate Together by Sidepiece. I really hope you guys liked this video. If you liked it, please don't forget to like it and comment if you want to see something else getting made. The full unedited version of me recreating this is out now on my Patreon. So if you're not subscribed yet, please check it out at patreon.com/foxedofficial, where you can get more presets, samples, and full project files of everything that I do that you see on YouTube. Thanks so much, guys, and we will see you on the next one.